Hello there. Me and my family recently went on a lovely holiday to North Wales, a little village called Severn-Cotswold on the coast. What a marvellous place. You know, I love Neolithic history, so on the way down we decided to stop off at the Capel Garmon burial chamber near to Betws-y-Coed in the community of Garmon. And what a place! If you find yourself in the area, or even if not, it's well worth a visit. While I was there, just before we left, I found this big chunk of milky quartz. I'll explain more about this in the second half of the video, why it's an important find and what I plan to do with it. Capel Garmon belongs to the Severn-Cotswold group in that it consists of a passage leading to a rectangular space with circular chambers splitting off to the east and west, which is different to most of the other Neolithic monuments in Wales, which are orientated north-south. In fact, no other Neolithic monuments in Conway Valley look like this, which is why it's thought of an outlier of the Cotswold monument group, dating it to the earlier Neolithic. They represent a collection of long barrows, a broader architectural tradition found across Atlantic Europe. This tradition stretches from the southeast of Spain up to southern Sweden. Around 200 known examples of long barrows are known from the Cotswold Severn region. Undoubtedly, lots more were likely destroyed prior to being recorded. The long barrow is the oldest widespread traditional monument using stone in its construction. Capel Garmon is roughly 15 feet long and 4 feet high. The entrance now used was not the original. The original entrance was the cramped passageway, which would have had a low ceiling and have been very claustrophobic. If a fresh cork were placed in there, flies, beetles and other carrion feeders which live on the decomposing animal matter that would have been present would have been all over the place. The smell would have been terrible, although there is nothing to say that fresh bodies would have been placed in these graves. We of course know very little about the Neolithic funerary process, as no records have survived. Mostly when we find tombs they have already been broken into in antiquity, most being empty. All this one has left inside is modern graffiti. I mean, what kind of person graffitis an ancient monument? Capel Garmon had been used as a shepherd's hut for a long time. Shepherds had broken through the side of the monument and had been using it as a camp. Actually, a 1st century iron fire dog was found inside, which you can now see in the National Museum of Wales in Cardiff. One of the chambers had been used as a horse's stable. In 1924, the Ministry of Works decided to excavate it as it was in a run-down way, with the trees growing through the passageway, and it was flooded. One of the passages was blocked, leaving the original archaeological team to conclude it was used once then sealed, although this of course is speculative. In 1989 it was dug out again and a singular shard of a human skull was found. Other finds include other bone fragments and shards of deeper pottery. Most Cotswold Severn group long barrows were usually well used, usually containing human bone in large quantities, with barrows averaging the remains of between 40 and 50 individuals, sometimes dismembered before interment. There is a line of smaller stones marking out the original edge of the dry stone walling, which would have originally been present. There was originally 2 wings which would have been much taller and reached out to cradle the rising sun. Here is an artist's impression of what the passageway would have originally looked like when it was newly built. Down away from the entrance was a grouping of rock. I found a group of 3 rocks which were positioned to make a small nook. Each was made of a slightly different stone, and in the space in the centre had been placed another smaller rock which was different again. I couldn't make sense of it, but somehow it felt more modern. Please let me know what you think in the comments. On the hill of the nook that surrounded the site we found this large boulder with a crack down the centre. It was quite exciting because it looked like a female positioned stone, perhaps rolled onto its side. Around the back I found this hole. I couldn't find anything written about it, but I'm confident it did play some significant role and was placed there. If you know, please update me. I used the book Architecture of Death by George Nash in making this video. I'll leave an Amazon link in the description, although it is quite rare and expensive, although it is very good. We had parked by a track around 5 minutes walk from the site nearby to the farm. It was here that I found a large piece of quartz. This is a picture of where I found it at the bottom of a dry muddy slope. We visited at the end of a heatwave, so if it had come loose in a downpour, it would have been there for a little while, perhaps coming loose from the large stone in the top of the picture, which looks quite interesting in of itself. Quartz was used by the Neolithic people as a knapping implement and sometimes broken down into smaller tools. This block would have made some spectacular cutting tools. On the bottom of the rock you can see chisel marks where it would have been removed. Sometimes our ancestors decorated graves and other structures with it. It subtly sparkles in the sunlight, although you won't be able to see it in a video. I gave it a clean just to show you how spectacular it looked. I found it easiest cleaning it with a toothpick. There was a meditative quality when cleaning it. There is some evidence that quartz was ritualistically smashed. Quartz crystal is a triboluminescence, that is, it gives off flashes of blue light when it is struck. I didn't think when I picked it up. I put it in the car thinking the other family visiting the site might have left it. But when I got back I noticed it wasn't covered in sand or it had not been smoothed by the sea. I'm glad I did pick it up though, as it could have been run over where I found it. Quartz is a common rock, especially for this area. Here is another piece I found on the beach at Severn-Cotswold. The quartz does take on an interesting look, kind of like a female bum or stomach button when viewed like this, which is clearly the front of the stone. What do you think? Am I just looking for an image in what is purely a natural formation? I do this a lot. In this rock I found on the beach I see a zombie's brain. In this one, some cheese. Maybe I just subconsciously see bums everywhere. In England and Wales you must report anything you think might count as treasure to your local coroner, which does seem a bit odd. You have 14 days to do this. Items of cultural or historical interest that are not treasure but still significant can be reported to the Portable Antiquities Scheme, Wales, as its own branch. As cool as this rock is, I'm not sure if this is a museum standard piece, but it is important that I report it. I'll be sending the Portable Antiquities Scheme Wales a small write-up along with this video. Whatever they think I should do with it, I will do. It doesn't really belong to me, it should probably go back to Wales. Tourists shouldn't keep stuff they find, it doesn't seem right. If you are nice enough to subscribe, I'll keep you updated. Please share if you do think it's an important find, just to get the word out there. Links with more information on this site are in the description. I hope you like this video. More videos about the Neolithic and Bronze Age will be dropping shortly. If you really enjoyed this vid and are impressed by my pronunciation of Welsh words, you can buy me a pint. I've left a cheeky little link in the description. No pressure, but I am an alcoholic. Thanks for watching and take care of yourselves.
Time for the zombie to rise. He's off. And the zombie have come down to save the world. Was that a good video?